Assalamu alaikum. I hope you will be fine, happy, and healthy today. Today we are going to begin the poem F, page number 86. First, we will translate it, and after that, paraphrase and explanation will be there. The toys mean खिलौने. My little son who looked from thoughtful eyes. My little son, मेरा छोटा बेटा, who looked from thoughtful eyes, जो सोच भरे अंदाज में देखता था. Thoughtful means सोच भरे या मुतफक्किराना अंदाज में देखता था. And moved and spoke in quite grown up wise. और चलता था, moved mean इधर उधर हरकत करता था, चलता था. And spoke और बातें करता था. In quite grown up wise, बिल्कुल बड़ों की तरह. Quite mean बिल्कुल grown up wise, बड़ों की तरह होशियाराना अंदाज में बातें करता था. Having my Lord the 7 times those disobeyed, जब इसने मेरे क़वानीन की 7 दफ़ा नाफरमानी किया. Having my laws, मेरे हुक्म की. The 7 times 7वें मरतबा disobeyed नाफरमानी किया. जब इसने मेरे हुक्म की 7 मरतबा नाफरमानी किया. I struck him, तो मैंने उन्हें मारा, उन्हें सजा दिया. And dismissed, और उन्हें भगा दिया, उन्हें दफा कर दिया कि दफा हो जाओ यहाँ से. मैंने उनको कह दिया. With hard words and unkissed, सख्त अल्फाज के साथ मैंने उनको दफा किया. And unkissed, और उनको बूसा नहीं दिया, उनको चूमा नहीं. His mother who was patient being dead, और उसकी माँ जो बहुत बीमार थी और अब वफात पा चुकी थी, बीमारी की वजह से वफात पा चुकी थी. या उसकी मदर जो एक साबिर औरत थी और वो भी वफात पा चुकी थी. तो यही पहला स्टैंजा है. I think we will do the paraphrase as well and the explanation as well. So in the paraphrase of this stanza we will say that in this stanza the poet plays the role of father and talk about his son, that his son from the outward appearance his son was looking very much thoughtful, and his walking and his different kind of action were also wise like grown up people. When he disobeyed my order 7 times, so I beat him and I told him that be off from here. And as his mother was dead, his mother had been died, so on his disobedience I did not cast him, and I told him to go away from here quickly. It is the simple translation from the poetry to the verse. So for the explanation, जब हम explanation लिखते हैं तो explanation में reference to the context होता है, और reference to the context हम यहाँ से इसी तरह भी लिख सकते हैं. Okay, this stanza has been taken from the poem The Ties वाले poem से ये stanza लिया गया है. Written by commentary Fitmore ने यही लिखा है. In this poem, the poet plays the role of a father punishes his son due to disobedience. वालिद पोएट एक वालिद की किरदार अदा करता है, वो अपने बेटे को सजा देता है उसकी नाफरमानी की वजह से. Then the father felt sorry, फिर उसको इस सजा पर अफसोस होती है. Goes to his son bedroom, अपने बेटे के बेडरूम को जाता है and found the child sleeping, और वहाँ पर बच्चा सोते हुए पा लेता है. He saw some toys arranged on the table near the child. वो देखता है कि इस बच्चे के टेबल के पर कुछ टॉय खिलौने उन्होंने तरतीब से रखी है. Child bed for consoling his sad heart, ताकि इससे अपने परेशान दिल को तसल्ली दे दे. Later on, the father thought that God would forgive his creature for their bad deed. बाद में पोएट ये भी सोचता है कि अल्लाह ताला अपने मखलूक को अपने गुनाहों की वजह से मुआफ करेगी. Just like the poet is sorry for his harsh word with his son, बिल्कुल जिस तरह शायर को अपने बेटे को सख्त अल्फाज कहने पर अफसोस है, तो इसी तरह अल्लाह ताला भी अपने बंदों को उनके गुनाहों की वजह से भी मुआफ कर देगी. In the explanation, we will write that in this stanza, the poet plays the role of father, and he described the story of himself and his son. He says that my son, who looks very thoughtful from his outward appearance, and so far his walking style is concerned, and so far his talking style is concerned, all of them shows that the my son is a thoughtful, is a wise man, is a wise boy. But when he disobeyed the poet for 7 times, so the poet got angry with his son, and he beat him, and he scolded him, and he told him to get away of his room. And in this way, the son uh, got away from his room and went to his own bedroom in a sad position. And usually the poet would kiss his son, but on that very day he didn't kiss him, and he dismissed him from his room. And then later on, the poet thought that as my son went to his bedroom, and as he has no mother to console him, because his mother had been died due to an illness, due to a sickness, and now the poet was a little bit sorry for his son upon this action of scolding his son. Now let's begin the second stanza. Then fearing lest his grief should hinder sleep, then fearing, फिर मेरे साथ खौफ था, शायर कहता है कि मैं डर रहा था, lest his grief should hinder sleep, के कहे उनकी गम उसकी नींद में खलल न डाले. Hinder mean खलल डालना. I visited his bed, so the poet visited his bed, उसने उसकी बेड की विजिट किया, वहाँ पर गया. But found him slumbering deep, लेकिन वहाँ पर उनको शायर ने उनको देखा कि वो गहरे नींद सो रहा था उनका बेटा. With a darkened eyelid, और उनके eyelid mean प्यूटे जो थे वो सयाह हो गए थे, फूल गए थे. And their lashes yet, और इनके पलके जो थे eyelashes वो अभी तक from his late sobbing wet, उसके सस्कियों की वजह से वेट थे, गीले थे, अभी भी आंसू उस पर नजर आ रहे थे. From his late sobbing wet, उसके सस्कियों की वजह से वो वेट थे. And I with moan, और मैंने एक आह के साथ, एक कराह के साथ, kissing away his tear, मैंने उनकी टीयर को, आंसुओं को छूमा. Left other of my own, और उनके पलकों पर अपने आंसू भी छोड़ दिए, मतलब मैं भी उन पर रोया, शायर कहता है. तो यही सेकंड स्टेंजा है. अगर इसकी पैराफ्रेज हम करते हैं तो इसी तरह होगा कि then the father felt afraid that maybe due to the harsh world the child would not sleep, so the father, the poet being a father, went to his bedroom, and when he went there, he found his son was sleeping over there, and his eyelid were a little bit darkened because of the weeping. Because of the weeping, his eyelid has become a little bit darkened, and his eyelashes were still wet because of the weeping. When the poet or the father saw this, so the poet also wept over there, and he shed some tears of his own on the child eyelashes. On the child eyelashes, he shed some more tear, and the child also. The poet was also very sad, and he kissed his tears. He kissed his tear and shed his own tear upon the child tear. अपने आंसू भी बच्चे के आंसू पर बहा दिए और वहाँ पर रोया. So far the explanation is concerned, the second part. Usually in the exam 2 questions come, one paraphrase which was there, and now explanation. So in explanation we will say this stanza has been taken from the poem The Ties, written by Coventry Fetmore. In this poem, the poet plays the role of a father punishes his son due to disobedience, punishes his son due to his disobedience, obedience है. Then the father felt sorry, goes to his son's bedroom and found the child sleeping. He saw some ties arranged on the table near the child's bed to console his sad heart. Later on, the father thought that God would forgive his creation for their bad deed, just like the poet is sorry for his harsh word with his son. Or so far the explanation is concerned. In this stanza, the poet says that when he struck his son, and the son went to his room in upset mood, in a sad mood, so the poet thought that maybe the child would not sleep due to his sadness. So he himself went to the child bedroom, and when he went there, he found the child was sleeping fast, and so far the eyes and eyelid of the child were concerned. So the eyelid were a little bit swollen due to weeping, a lot due to too much weeping, and his eyelashes were still yet because of the weeping. When the poet saw this situation, he also felt very sorry, and with a moan, he kissed his tear too much, and the poet also started weeping at him, and he made the eyelashes and the eyelid of the child more wet on his own tears. And he was very much unhappy at that occasion when he saw the child on that situation. Now the third stanza says, "For on the table drawn beside his head, for on the table, क्योंकि उसके करीब जो टेबल था, drawn जो रखा हुआ था, beside his head उसके सर के करीब, he had put within his reach, तो इस बच्चे ने रखे थे अपने पोंछ के करीब, यानी उसके हाथ उस टेबल को पोंछते थे और इस टेबल पर उस बच्चे ने रखे थे a box of counter and a red wine stone. A box mean एक डब्बा, अब काउंटर गिनती, गिनती के मुख्तलिफ चीजें गिनती कहते हैं एक डब्बे में, and a red wine stone और एक सुर्ख दारी वाला पत्थर भी था, एक सुर्ख पत्थर था, रंग उसका सुर्ख था और इस पर दारियां थी, लकीरें थी. A piece of glass embroidered by the beach, और a piece of glass शीशे का एक टुकड़ा भी था, एम्ब्रॉयडर्ड जो गसा था उसने बाय द बीच, समंदर, साहिल समंदर में उसने गसा था, एंड 6 or 7 शेल और इसके साथ 6 या 7 सीपिया भी थे, अ बॉटल विद द ब्लू बिल और इनके साथ एक बॉटल भी था, एक बोतल भी था जिसमें ब्लू बिल नामी जंगली फूल थे, एंड 2 फ्रेंच कॉफर काइंस और इसके साथ 2 फ्रांसीसी तांबे के सिक्के भी थे, रेंज्ड देयर विद केयरफुल आर्ट, जो इस बच्चे ने ये सब कुछ वहाँ मुख्तात अंदाज में रखे हुए थे, टू कंफर्ट हिज सैड हार्ट, ताकि अपने परेशान दिल को इसके जरिए से कंफर्ट दे, तसल्ली दे, खुश कर दे अपने परेशान दिल को. तो यही तीसरा स्टेंजा है. This is a narrative poem, so the stanzas are not in proper order. Some are small, some are a little bit lengthy stanzas. So here the poet says that so far the paraphrase is concerned. So the poet says that when I went to his bed, he was sleeping, and there was a table near his bed, and on the table he has put different thing. Among these things, a box of counter was also there. A red type stone was also there. A piece of glass was there which he had brought from the beach, and that glass was embroidered, and there were 6 or 7 shells also laid on the table, and a bottle was there in which bluebell flowers were there, and on the table there were 2 French kafir kind, and he has arranged all these things in a proper order, and he has done all these things to comfort his sad soul. And he was sad, so in order to make himself happy with these things, he had done all these things. And so far the paraphrase is concerned, so we will say the explanation. This stanza has been taken from the poem The Ties, written by Coventry Whitmore. In this poem, the poet plays the role of a father, punishes his son due to his disobedience. Then his father felt sorry. He goes to his son's bedroom and found the child sleeping. And he saw some ties arranged on the table near the child bed for consoling his sad heart. Later on, the father thought that God would forgive his creation for their bad deeds, just like the poet is sorry for his harsh word with his son. And so far the explanation is concerned, so we will say that in this stanza the poet says that when he went to his child or his son Rome, so he found his son sleeping over there, and there was a table near his son bed. On the table his son has put a different thing, and the thing were in such a distance to which the hand of his son could easily reach from his bed. And on that table he had put a box of the counter in which there were different things of counting, and there was a red stone as well, mean a marble type of stone, and the color of the stone was red, and there were lines on that stone, and there was a piece of glass as well, and he has brought this piece of glass from the beach, and he has braided it to make it as round as possible. And beside these there were 6 or 7 shell also. He had laid on the table in a proper order, and there was a small bottle, and in the bottle there were bluebell flowers, and he had put these bluebell flowers in a good manner in the table, and there were 2 French kinds as well, and he has put these French kinds also in a proper order, and all these things looks very much attractive and beautiful, and the child has put all these things in such a way in order to console his sad heart and make himself happy with these ties. So he has done all these things. Now the last stanza is, so when that night I prayed, so इसलिए या पास when that night जब इसी रात I prayed मैंने इबादत की मैंने दुआ की और to God अल्लाह ताला को I wept and said तो मैं बहुत रोया और मैंने कहा अल्लाह ताला से when at last we lie with the tranced breath when at last जब आखिरकार we lie with tranced breath जब हम लेट जाते हैं हम पड़े रहते हैं अपने आखिरी सांस के बाद मतलब जब हम मर जाते हैं अपनी आखिरी सांस लेकर मर जाते हैं और सो जाते हैं जैसा ये बच्चा अभी सो रहा है यानी मौत की नींद सो जाते हैं नॉट वेक्सिंग दी एंड डेथ तो नॉट वेक्सिंग दी एंड डेथ तो मौत के बाद आप हमें भी तकलीफ नहीं देंगे एंड दाउ नॉट वेक्सिंग दी मीन तंग नहीं करेंगे एंड डेथ मौत के बाद एंड दाउ रिमेम्बरस्ट आप व्हाट ties एंड दाउ रिमेम्बरस्ट और आपको आप याद रखते हो आप व्हाट ties के इन खिलौनों को वी मेड और जायज जो हमने अपने खुशियों के लिए बनाए हैं हाउ वीकली अंडरस्टूड कितने कम हम समझते हैं द ग्रेट कमांड गुड यानी आपके अजीम अहकामात अच्छे अच्छे अहकामात को हम बहुत कम समझते हैं जैसा ये बेटा भी हमारा हुक्म नहीं मानते हैं हम ज़ाहिरी तौर पर उसकी भलाई के लिए हुक्म देते हैं लेकिन वो इस हुक्म को नहीं मानते हैं तो इसी तरह हम आपके अच्छे अहकामात और हमारे भलाई के जो अहकामात हैं हम उनको बहुत कम समझते हैं हाउ वीकली अंडरस्टूड हम बहुत कम समझते हैं द ग्रेट कमांड गुड आपके अच्छे आला अहकामात देन फादरली नॉट लेस फिर वालिद से तो कम नहीं फादरली मीन एक वालिद के जज्बा से नॉट लेस इससे तो कम नहीं देन आई होम thou hast molded from the clay then I फिर मैं whom thou hast molded जिसको आपने पैदा किया है from the clay मिट्टी से यानी मुझे आपको मिट्टी आपने मुझे मिट्टी से पैदा किया है ए अल्लाह मुझको जो आपने मिट्टी से पैदा किया है thou wilt leave thy wrath and say आप अपना गुस्से को ठंडा कर लेंगे छोड़ेंगे और आप कहेंगे I will be sorry for their childishness कि मुझे इसके बचकाना हरकतों को मुझे अफसोस है, मैं उनको मुआफ करता हूँ। आप भी हम इंसानों को ऐसे मुआफ कर लेंगे जैसे मैंने अपने बेटे को मुआफ किया। अगरचे मेरे बेटे ने मेरे नाफरमानियाँ की, इस तरह हमने भी आपकी बहुत नाफरमानियाँ की और हमने ये आपके अच्छे अहकामात को बजा नहीं लाए और बुरे काम कर दिए, लेकिन फिर भी आप हमें मुआफ करेंगे। शायर कहता है ऐसा। तो अगर हम इसकी पैराफ्रेज कर ले तो हम कहेंगे, the poet says that when there, after that event when he beat his son and then he told the whole story, so at a night time when I started devotion, जब मैंने इबादत शुरू किया, and I started praying Almighty Allah, so I wept and I said to Almighty Allah that, oh Allah, when we take our last breath, when we die, so after death you would not give us punishment, mm, and because the mistake and our life is also just like those ties which we spend in our time in these trivial and trivial thing, and we don't obey your order which are for our goodness, your order which are for goodness, we don't obey these order, but above all these things, your condition is like a father from us. You are much more then your love is much more than the love of a father, and you have made us from the clay, from the soil, so you would not get angry with us after our death upon our bad action in this world, and after our death and on the day of judgment you will say that I am sorry for the small mistake of my creature which they have done. And so far the paraphrase is concerned, the explanation is concerned. So we will say this stanza has been taken from the poem The Ties, written by Coventry Fitmore. In this poem, the poet says the poet plays the role of a father, punishes his son due to his disobedience. Then the father felt sorry, goes to his son's bedroom and found the child sleeping. He saw some ties arranged on the table nearby child bed for consoling his sad heart. Later on, the father thought that God would forgive his creation for their bad deeds, just like the poet is sorry for his harsh word with his son. And so far the explanation is concerned, so we will say that in this stanza the poet says that after the whole story, when at night time before sleeping, I prayed Almighty Allah. So I said that, oh, I started weeping to Almighty Allah, and I said that, oh Allah, one day we have to die, and when we take our last breath and we get die, so you would not give us punishment, just like after the sleeping I didn't give more punishment to the child, and similarly you would not give us any punishment after our death, and the mistake which we have done is also just like the ties of this small child, that he has collected all these ties and he is wasting his time upon these ties and he doesn't do a good action. So similarly we are also wasting our time in such a thing which are not good for us, and we have forgotten the great command of you which are for our goodness, for our benefits, and which provide us console in this world as well and the life after death as well. But we have forgotten all these great commands which you have given to us. But despite that, your love is much more than the love of a father. And if a father forgive his son easily, so the Allah Almighty will also forgive us after death, and He will say that. Anyhow, my creature are very simplish and childish creature, and they didn't know their goodness, and if they did some mistakes during their life, you will forgive all these mistakes and will enter all of us to the paradise, and will not punish us upon our bad action uh, because of our simplicity, because of our lack of knowledge. You will not give us punishment and you will forgive us, the poet says. I hope you will have learned this, students. Try to read it again and again and learn it very well. And try to share with all your near and dear one who are second year students. And don't forget to remember me in your prayer. Thank you so much. Khuda Hafiz.